Alright, how it goes, ladies and gents? Today we are going to be speedrunning the news. I don't have a whole lot of time to be live today, unfortunately, so we are going to have to be pretty quick about it. So let us... That I won't have time for today, so I can do this.
Good morning.
And this might be the most important thing to do. So let's start here. And of course I can do an outro for the ADHD inclined amongst us. We'll be bouncing around today.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. We have a extremely respected man in the Oval Office today, and a friend of mine for a long time, a very good friend of mine.
Okay, I'll try not to be goofy about things I don't know too much about.
That is incredible in terms of human rights and everything else. And he's the Crown Prince.
Excuse me. In terms of human rights, let me...
The future king, and I just want to pay my greatest respect to your father, King, who is an amazing man. I met him early on at the airport at an age that was pretty high up there, and it was about 117 degrees, and he was standing on the red carpet as I came out of the plane, and he's amazing. And when I met his brilliant son, it was at the Oval Office. Shortly thereafter, you came in representing the country, and I called the father. I said, "This guy is fantastic," and I don't know if that helped.
Trump got MBS elected. Or chosen, I guess. I don't know.
Or hurt you, but obviously it couldn't have hurt too much, because here you are, right? But we had a great meeting, and the office has changed quite a bit, and we inherited a mess. You actually told me you thought the country was in big trouble. I'm not going to use the exact word that you use. I refuse to say that you thought our country was dead.
Okay.
He's a man who was, I want to pay my, the future king. Proud of the job he's done. A very good friend of mine. Respected man in the Oval Office today, and a friend of mine for a long time. A very good friend of mine. And I'm very proud of the job he's done. What he's done is incredible in terms of human rights and everything.
So here's the changes to human rights under MBS. So there's been more freedom of movement for women. They can drive now. There's a little bit more workforce participation. It's still under 50%. It went from 17 to 35. And the religious police can no longer arrest people. What has been detraction is a lot more prosecution of like Twitter stuff. So anything you say on the internet can be prosecuted. So some women were sentenced to decades in prison for tweeting stuff calling for reform. And citizens can be arrested for post-paid years ago. Capital punishment rates have skyrocketed. Forced displacement due to mega projects. Yeah, so... Oh yeah, and the murder of Khashoggi. So just... I don't know. You can decide what the balance of those are, but...
Everything else.
Where were we?
You actually told me you thought the country was in big trouble. I'm not going to use the exact word that you use. I refuse to say that you thought our country was dead a year and a half, 2 years ago. But a country was in trouble.
Do this thing. I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say it.
You said that also. And we do. We have the United States is right now the hottest country in the world. And between the tariffs and the election, November 5th election, we've done things that nobody can believe. $21 trillion will be the amount invested in the United States or committed to invest in 1 year.
Okay.
So I'm here 9.
So we've moved from has flown in to is committed to invest, which is more true, but doesn't capture the idea that it's a verbal, non-binding commitment that does not need to be made in any time frame or any actual amount. So he's getting closer, but he's still miles away.
Months, we're up to almost $18 trillion. Biden, as an example, the Biden administration, if you call it that, it's not to me, it was the Biden lack of administration. There were less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We're going to be $21 trillion for 1 year.
I just, again, when we see it, I'll believe it when I see it, all right? For Biden, we can actually look back at his... Well, you would use FDI to invest to do this, and that's like stuff that actually happened. I don't know if Trump is at anything right now. Oh, they finally fixed this. Let's go.
I think it's hard to believe. The biggest in history was a certain country, $3 trillion. We're going to be $21 trillion. On top of that, prices are coming down. We inherited a mess with high prices. The worst inflation in the history of our country. We had inflation that was a single 4 years, the worst inflation in the history of the United States. The gas prices through the roof, and that's after destroying our petroleum reserve, which was meant for wars and big emergencies, not to try and win an election. They opened up the reserve so that people get $3 less in gasoline, and it didn't work. They got about 3 cents less, because as big as those reserves are, they're peanuts when you're talking about that kind of traffic. And we're rebuilding the reserves. We're doing all of this, and we've done a job. We're also
Biden was at 1.32 trillion.
So bringing down prices very substantially, and we've already brought them down very, very substantially. Gasoline is way down. I think you'll be seeing $2 gasoline, but we're now at $2.50, $2.45. Some are lower than that. It was $4.50, $5, $6, $3.50, $3.75. Under by all different numbers, but way high. And we have energy way down. But the biggest thing to me, because I know what it means in jobs, is the fact that we're at over $17 trillion, Scott, and we expect to be around $20, $21 trillion in 1 year. And that's many times bigger than in history. The highest number was $3 trillion. And we're going to be at $21 trillion. That means new plants, new AI, new auto plants. We have auto plants coming in from Canada, from Mexico, from Germany.
Okay. So in the first 6 months, the actual amount of money that has actually flowed in from foreign countries, it's not 21 trillion, it's not 19 trillion, it's not 22 trillion. It's 145 billion. Now, Biden averaged 250 billion over his 4 years. So far, Trump's underwater. Uh-oh.
From Japan, Toyota just agreed to invest $10 billion on new auto plants, all American workers. We've never been in a position like this. You can go back to the beginning. Our country has never been in a position like this, and it really is because of the fact that we use tariffs to bring all this money in. And you're going to see the results in a year when these plants start to open up. We have more plants under construction now than at any time in the history of our country. And these are big plants. These are the biggest plants anywhere in the world. And I want to thank you because you've agreed to invest $600 billion into the United States.
Be curious what he thinks the time to
but I'm gonna have to work on
go from planning a plant to making a plant. These are like Infrastructure Act plants and CHIPS Act plants, right? Like a car manufacturer doesn't just get a plant under construction within 9 months, right?
But it's 600. We can count on 600 billion, but that number could go up a little bit higher. Yes, I don't know. We'll see. But we appreciate it very much. So Saudi is going to be investing at least $600 billion, and that means investments in plants, in companies, money on Wall Street, and what it really means for everybody that really counts is jobs, a lot of jobs. We have a lot of jobs. So I just want to thank you. We've been really good friends for a long period of time. We've always been on the same side of every issue. I think we've done a great job in wiping out the nuclear capacity of Iran. Nobody else could have done that. No other president would have done it. We had the pilots in the Oval Office right here. We were celebrating a very successful attack. So I had them in with that beautiful B-2 bomber that's over there. And they said, sir, for 22 years, we practiced this attack. Our predecessors, these were very young guys, so 22 years, they said our predecessors and us practiced the attack on...
Okay, pre-construction project, for the pre-construction generally lasts 12 to 24 months. So far, anything that's actually breaking ground right now, that's Biden. And we could say that for the rest of this year and probably a little bit of next year, too. After that, I'll concede that new plant construction might be Trump.
Iran. But no president ever gave us the go-ahead. 3 times a year they went out and they practiced the attack. Nobody let us do it until you came along, and I let them do it because it was the right thing to do. You can't have a nuclear Iran. And so we put you in a very good position. But I just want to say it's an honor to be your friend, and it's an honor that you're here. And if you'd like to say a few words, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. This relation for about 9 decades, and we've been working together for a long time. But today it's a very important time in our history because there's also a lot of things that we're working in the future. We believe in the future of America. We believe in what you're doing, Mr. President, is really creating a lot of good things and good foundations to create more economic growth, more business in America, and also your work for the world peace. I believe, Mr. President, today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion for investment, real investment, and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we
this practice of world leaders coming in and just kissing the ring is, it's like, I don't know what what the calculation is, because for them they're like, if I just do this, I can get whatever the fuck I want from him, so I win. But it's like when you appeal to a narcissist, it feels bad, even though you get what you want. There's part of it that's like, I don't want them to have the satisfaction of also, God, that just sounds fucking evil. But like, you know, where it's like, they'll think that they're in control here, even though I'm winning. But it feels bad that they'll feel that. I don't know. I don't know if that's just... Actually, that is quite spiteful on my end.
We are signing today in many areas in technology, AI, and materials, magnet, etc. That will create a lot of investment opportunities.
So you are doing that now. You're saying to me now that the $600 billion will be $1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing to facilitate that.
I like that very much. No, that's great. I appreciate that. That's great. We're doing numbers that nobody's ever done. And in all fairness, if you didn't see potential in the U.S., you would be doing it.
Definitely.
You don't want to lose money.
As you said, Mr. President, it's the most hottest country in the planet. But what you're creating is not about opportunity today. It's about also long-term opportunity, not for America, that will affect.
No, Trump doesn't give a fuck about the long term. He wants it to happen now, under him.
American economy positively in the next coming decades, preparing the right foundation of emerging technologies. That's a game changer for America in a good way, and we want to be part of it.
Yeah, we're doing really well. And this, you don't see what we're doing so much because we have, although the construction industry sees it. If you look at Caterpillar, who's been incredible, the tractors, everything else, the numbers that we're doing in construction are unbelievable. Some of the plants that we're building, AI, and they're building their own electric.
Sorry, again, for the millionth time. Construction spending, U.S. monthly. Construction spending is going down. The last 5 years, okay, it dipped. Okay, maybe it's up a tiny bit, but it declined during the start of Trump's presidency. And now it's back kind of where he started. So nothing overall has changed. Oh my God, okay.
And I gave them the right to build their own electric with the plant because no country, frankly, will have this. China's working very hard to produce enough electric, but we're beating China substantially at AI, which is a big thing. And we had a great meeting 2 weeks ago with President Xi, but on AI, we're doing well. And I have a man, David Rommel.
Yes, sir.
David, could you say a few words about what you're seeing on the job front and all of the some of the assets, and also how we've been helped by the Saudis in terms of the kind of investment they've made, please?
Yeah, no, certainly. Thank you for the opportunity. I am a facility leader for GE Vernova, and if you look at the landscape for GE Vernova investment, over $750 million in the U.S. focused on true manufacturing jobs here stateside. We're looking at tripling the output of our Greenville, South Carolina facility, where we make the gas turbines that are supporting U.S. needs as well as the Saudi Arabian needs.
Right.
So real jobs, $300 million in gas investment, resulting in over 500 pieces of new equipment being installed in the Greenville, South Carolina facility. That translates into roughly 1,800 jobs across the board for GE Vernova as we try to scale capacity to be able to meet this demand. Along with that, we're partnering with local communities to build the skill set that's required to meet these capacity needs. So that talent pipeline is incredibly important.
So it's being covered up there and covered in flowery languages. Listen again.
Try to scale capacity to be able to meet this demand. Along with that, we're partnering with local communities to build the skill set.
Partnering with global communities. So that means they're going to not use domestic workers. Now, granted, I'd like this is what you have to do. We don't have people training the skill set here, so you do have to hire people abroad, but he's very much couching that language so that either it flies over Trump's head, but Trump acknowledges it, so maybe it flies over MAGA's head. I don't know.
That's required to meet these capacity needs. So that talent pipeline is incredibly important. So it's real jobs in the manufacturing space.
Well, you've been great, and thank you very much. And we love that state. I won that state by record numbers. I won a lot of states by record. Texas, a lot of them by Indiana. We're working with Indiana or something right now. We won that. We won a lot of.
Indiana's like one of the reddest states. No.
By records, but that was one of them. I want to thank you very much. Say hello to everybody. Great job. You're doing a great job. Thank you. So, just in wrapping up, we'll take a couple of questions, but I want to just tell you what an honor it is to be your friend. And I very much appreciate the
God.
investment. Now,
Okay,
$1 trillion.
Trump's on his knees.
And so I'm glad you got that.
Maybe
out.
MBS
It's
was
the one
above
to
it the
tell.
whole
That's
time.
great news.
You keep increasing, Mr. President.
I don't know.
Each time the opportunities are just increasing more and more.
Well, the opportunities, right? We're doing better. If even if you look back 6 months ago, I mean, all of a sudden you feel even better. So, and I think we're only going to go in one way. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. President, have you approved the export licenses for advanced chips to Saudi Arabia? The export licenses?
We are working on that. We're negotiating that right now. Marco, do you want to talk about that, or Scott?
Okay, well, I mean, that's part of what we may have announcements on that later today. But that's what we've been working on is the mechanics by which something like that can be achieved. And it's part of
From this angle, his hair blends into the suits behind him, so it actually looks like he's an elf or something from Lord of the Rings.
the broader process, part of this broader engagement and cooperation between our two countries.
Certain levels of chips.
For the Crown Prince, Royal Highness, you're talking about $1 trillion in investment. Could the kingdom continue to do that with oil prices in the mid-60s?
Yeah, we are not creating fake opportunities to, please America, please President Trump. It's a real.
I feel like that's exactly what's going on here.
In the mid-60s. Crown Prince.
We are not creating fake opportunities to, please America, please President Trump.
So that wasn't the question. So this is something that's in the mind, right? So when someone answers something tangential, they're either trying to deflect around the question or they're trying to address something that they think everyone's thinking. Right?
Trump, it's real opportunities. For example, when you ask about the AI and the chips, Saudi Arabia have a huge demand of a huge need of computing power, and we're going to spend in the short term around $50 billion by consuming those semiconductors for our needs in Saudi Arabia. And with the agreement that we're going to have with North America, that will allow us to focus that consuming power in short term by $50 billion from North America, and long term with $100 billion in the long term. So there's a lot of real opportunities that fit our needs in Saudi Arabia and fit our investment strategy.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest?
Yes, absolutely.
And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in your
Who are you with?
Why should Americans
Who are
trust
you with?
And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the
Okay, so our own intelligence, our CIA said, yes, MBS was involved and knew about the murder of Khashoggi. That is what our CIA said, okay? A bunch of his personal guys flew back and forth to the embassy to where he was trying to get papers, not embassy, some consulate or something, where he was trying to get papers to get married. A bunch of his personal guys, like, where he was murdered, all right? So
But the question is,
one of the worst in the business, but I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything
Let's
they've
just
done,
get a cursory
they've done
is
tremendous business
from
for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very
World
successful.
Liberty
And I made America more
Finance.
successful by far than it ever was. And that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about
okay. So when Trump says he's not invested in his son's business, that's total bullshit. His company, one of his companies, has 60% stake of World Liberty Financial. And it gets 75% of the revenue from World Liberty Financial. That's fucking crazy. So yeah, the claim that Trump has no ties to it is total horseshit.
it. And we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
Just ask Mr. President, to answer. I feel painful about families of 9/11 in America, but we have to focus
So not answering the Khashoggi question.
on reality based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents that Osama bin Laden he used Saudi people in that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose of 9/11. So whoever buying that.
That's the purpose of... What?
A lot of documents that Osama bin Laden he used Saudi people in that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose.
Could it also be that Osama bin Laden was a Saudi national, right? Like, the country disowned him or denationalized him, but like it was still Saudi. He's gonna know Saudi people.
Of 9/11. So whoever buying that means they are helping Osama bin Laden purpose of destroying this relation. He know that strong relation between America and Saudi Arabia is bad
All
for
money,
extremism,
no
it's bad for
sense.
terrorism.
True.
And we have to approve him wrong and to build our relation, to continue working our relation. It's critical to the safety of the world. It's critical against extremism and terrorism. about the journalists, it's really painful to hear anyone that been losing his life for no real purpose or not in a legal way, and it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of.
We investigated ourselves and found we did nothing wrong, and Trump believes the Saudi investigation, which is a monarchy or dictatorship essentially, over the CIA that said, "Oh yeah, this guy absolutely knew about it."
Investigation, etc., in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that, and it's painful and it's a huge mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Crown Prince has been instrumental in helping lifting the sanctions on Syria.
True.
Will there be any joint investment between the U.S. and Syria? And will you visit the
Are you from Syria?
No, but
Where are you from?
I'm from Palestine.
Oh, you're making a lot of progress, huh?
Wait, did you say Palestine or Pakistan?
Where are you from?
I'm from Palestine.
Oh,
Palestine,
you're making
okay.
a lot of progress, huh? Very good. Well, they like it. The Palestinians like it.
As well, after you,
The
sir.
Palestinians are doing very well, actually. I think
Are Palestinians happy about the new
we're working very
deal?
closely with a lot of people that make everybody happy, including Israel, the Palestinians, and everybody. It's very interesting. No, I think that I will tell you, the
Wait.
Crown Prince called me, and he specifically asked me if I would lift the sanctions on Syria because he wants to see Syria make it. As you know, the leader of Syria was just here. We had a great meeting, and he's a strong guy, and I guess you need a strong person to run it. And I think Syria has made tremendous progress. So we did lift the sanctions at the request of the Crown Prince, also the President of Turkey, Erdogan, called me specifically.
All
and
right,
said,
I'm looking up if there's Palestinian polling on the Trump peace plan.
if you don't lift the sanctions, Syria doesn't have a chance. If you do, they have a very good chance. And between the two of them and some others, I lifted the sanctions. And the results so far have been pretty good.
Mr. President, can I ask you a question about the F-35s that are being sold to Saudi Arabia? Are these the same ones that are being used by the Israeli military? And if so, how does that allow for the qualitative military edge for Israel? And then I want to ask you, because you brought up the plight of the Palestinians, are you aware of relocation flights to South Africa that are taking place right now?
Which flights?
They're relocation flights.
Okay, so it seems like 70% of Palestinians do not support the disarmament of Hamas. I think while Hamas sits at, I think, just over 50% support from Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, so West Bank tends to support more armament of, or people in the West Bank tend to support Hamas a bit more. My contention is because they're further removed from it, whereas Gazans are very much 50-50. However, with a disarmament of Hamas, which needs to happen, I agree, but there also needs to be some Palestinian force that can protect people, right? I don't think the Palestinians, especially in the Gaza Strip, have a lot of reason to take Israel or the U.S. on trust. There's the International Security Force, which is supposed to have a lot of Arab partners in it, but I can't imagine that that's going to be too popular. I don't know.
That are taking place. Some Palestinians are being charged up to $2,000
I'm not
a
going to
seat.
South Africa for the G20 because I think their policies on
That's not the fucking question.
Aware of relocation flights to South Africa that are taking place right now?
Which flights?
They're relocation flights that are taking place. Some
Okay, so people are being relocated out of Palestine to South Africa, and Trump's response to that is,
Palestinians are being charged up to $2,000
I'm not
a
going to
seat.
South Africa for the G20 because I think their policies on the extermination of people are unacceptable. So I'm not going to. I won't refer to anything having to do with South
I
Africa.
won't refer to anything having to do with that. Oh my god, dude.
Africa is.
Both of these guys are just saying, that question makes me uncomfortable. Not answering.
Behaved
Next.
extremely badly. But I will say that when you look at the F-35, and you're asking me, is it the same? I think it's gonna be pretty
yapping.
similar, yeah.
True.
You know, this is a great ally, and Israel's a great ally. And I know they'd like you to get planes of reduced caliber. I don't think that makes you too happy. They've been a great ally. Israel's been a great ally. And we're looking at that exactly right now. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they are.
The concern with Saudi Arabia having the latest F-35s, or even F-35s in general, is that they have business relations with China, and there's a very real possibility that China gets their hands on F-35 technology if we sell them to Saudi Arabia.
Both at a level where they should get top of the line. Yes, please.
Can I just ask for the question? About the direct talks between
It's all right. Steve, 1 second. Go ahead.
Have you reached an agreement on a U.S.
That's why Turkey didn't get them,
treaty today? And are you going to bring up the Abraham Accords in your
I
discussion?
already brought him up.
What did you say?
I think I got a positive response. Would you like to respond?
Yeah, so
Although Turkey's in a weird spot because they've also shot down Russian planes, haven't they? Like, they gotta just do whatever the fuck they want.
yeah, so definitely we believe having a good relation with all these countries is a good thing, and we want to be part of the Abraham Accord, but we want also to be sure that we secure a clear path of two-state solution. And today we have a healthy discussion with Mr. President that we're going to work on that to be sure that we can prepare the right situation as soon as possible to have that. And I think.
I don't think Trump actually supports a two-state solution because in that peace plan there was nothing about the Palestinians will get a state. It was maybe we might give the Palestinians a path to potential statehood. It's like, okay. Yeah, but the U.S. can't take the risk of data of F-35s on Russian radar systems so that Russia can tune their systems to find F-35. True. I mean, yeah, no, I agree. I don't think we should be selling F-35s to countries that may potentially have like military ties to our adversaries. That's seems pretty obvious. Obviously, Trump doesn't give a shit about that, so.
I think we're, I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk on the Abraham Accords. We talked about one state, two state. We talked about a lot of things in a short period of time. We'll be discussing.
Trump's not going to say anything strong on one state
versus
versus two states.
Just definitely, Mr. President, we want peace for the Israelis, we want peace for the Palestinians, we want them to coexist peacefully in the region, and we will do all this to reach that date.
And a defense agreement? Have you reached an agreement on that?
We pretty much have.
Question for the Crown Prince, if I could just finish.
We have reached agreement on that.
I wanted to ask you about the direct talks between the United States and Iran. Have you been fully briefed on that, and are you concerned at all about how this might impact Saudi security interests?
We are close, and I will be working closely together on that issue, and we will do our best to help to reach a deal between the rest of America and Iran, and we believe it's good for Iran's future to have a good deal that will satisfy the region and the world and the rest of America. So we will do our best to see that they happen.
And by the way, Iran doesn't want to make a deal. I can say I think they very badly want to make a deal. I am totally open to it, and we're talking to them, and we start a process. But it would be a nice thing to have a deal with Iran, and we could have done it before the war, but...
What's there to make a deal on?
It didn't work out, and
I don't know.
something
I actually don't
they would
know.
very much like. I mean, they may say something else, but they would very much like to have a deal.
You are going to sell F-35
Say
jets.
it.
You said you are planning to sell the F-35 jets to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Is it part of the security agreement? And how you assess the defense partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States? And the question was,
Well, I just said it. I mean, we're going to sell them F-35s. That's the only question.
is it part of the security agreement or no?
No, we're going to have a deal. They're going to purchase F-35s. They're buying them from Lockheed, and it's a great plane. We make, by the way, the best military equipment. You saw that during the
That is
little skirmish.
the US
We
is
make
the
the
fucking
best
best.
planes, the best missiles. We make the best defensive missiles. We make the best military equipment in the world.
Nice. And before this, right, I'd like to ask about how you see the cooperation between the United States and Saudi Arabia in the advanced technological field, especially AI, and how it will support Saudi Arabia to serve its goal to achieve the vision of 2050.
Well, I will try to answer that in short, but definitely there's a lot of interest in many industries to Saudi Arabia and America, and we are signing a lot of...
Didn't Trump spend years trashing on the F-35? I think you're thinking of Musk. I know Musk shit talked the F-35. He's like, a stealth plane. Can't you just use a camera and AI?
agreement in different areas that will really add value to American economy, but also to add value
5
to
out of
Saudi-
10 Musk
and Saudi
impression,
Arabia.
but-
AI is critical for us because one of the long-term problems that we could have is lack of workforce. As you've seen in the past few years, some of them have reached 30% of the global immigration in
look
Saudi
it up.
Arabia. So we know that to assure the Saudi Arabia GDP growing, with the lack of workforce that we have, we need to use a lot of computing power to replace job in the long term. So that's huge demand in Saudi Arabia, and we want to link it to American private
I got live fact checking on the side. We try and do the right thing here.
sectors and getting the supply from America. So there's a lot of opportunities in that area.
And we're also involved in AI in Saudi Arabia. So we're working, and we'll lead.
Okay, so he has, yes, he has criticized it, calling its costs out of control. He vowed to save billions of dollars on what? What does he know about? He can't even save money on construction. What the fuck is he gonna know about the F-35?
Leading by a lot on AI. Actually, a lot. China would be in second place.
Death
But we're
Streamer,
leading by a lot.
real.
And I have to say
Fact
this, and our
check,
relationship with China has
true.
been very good. And as far as buying our farm products, they're pretty much on schedule. Scott, I'd like you to call them, say if they could speed it up. Okay, but they're pretty much on schedule.
If I may have a question for both the Crown Prince.
Who are you?
Faisal Abbas from Arab News, Saudi Arabia. Your Excellency.
You should be a friendly question.
I'll let that one stand on its own.
Your Royal Highness, just picking up on something you just mentioned about how some people try to destroy the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States. Perhaps, since the launch of the vision, we've been used to having the bigger picture and that everything fits into the bigger picture. Might you want to elaborate a little bit about where is the relationship, the bilateral relationship, the strategic partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States heading, and what's the big picture there?
Well, I don't think it's a relation that we can replace it from the Saudi side or the American side. It's a critical relationship for our political attempt, for our economical attempt, for our security, for our military, for many things. And it has been there for 9 decades, and the opportunities that we have today is huge, and seems that it's going to get deeper in the next few decades. And what we are having today and tomorrow with President Trump, it's really a huge new chapter in this relation that will add value to both of us.
You know, when you think about it, I'm just sitting here. You're with the future.
Like, the relationship's good because it'll be good, and it's good. Yep.
King, a man who's respected by everybody, a man that doesn't have to be done.
Fact check. I don't think that's true at all.
Really. I don't have to be doing it either. And yet we're sitting here taking questions. We didn't say, oh, you can't talk about this. And there's never been transparency like this, even in his country. But there's never been in our country.
I love how the implication is that Saudi Arabia is a paragon of transparency and that Trump has managed to crest this high bar over Saudi Arabia. Oh my, where people get decades in prison over fucking tweets of dissent, and you could just get straight up murdered. Radical transparency. If you criticize us, we will make your innards transparent. That's the Saudi way.
That's been acknowledged, but we didn't put restrictions. And I'm saying it's sort of wonderful to be taking questions from all over the world. Everybody's here. This is just a small group representative of tremendous numbers of media that are outside, that are very jealous that these people were so selected, but they're representing a lot of people that are outside. I think it's terrific that we can be sitting here being this open, and I think it's really a wonderful thing.
I don't mind have a personal question for you.
Okay, here we go. Should have said that.
So apart from everything you mentioned in your opening remarks, you forgot to mention that you've de-escalated 7 wars since you started. At least
oh
in
my,
our part of
shut
the
the
world,
fuck
you are
up,
seen as a
dude.
peacemaker. And adding that to all the executive orders and everything else you've mentioned, I really have to wonder, you, in your speech in Saudi Arabia, I was there, you said that His Royal Highness does not sleep at night thinking how he does things better. We wonder in Saudi Arabia, how do you manage your own time, and what's your formula for managing?
He does not sleep much, and I don't sleep much. I think we have the same schedule. We're thinking about our country.
They keep each other up at night with the self-suck super competition.
And if you sleep a lot and you're president, we just had one that slept more than any president. He broke every record. He sleeps all the time, during the day, during the night, on the beach. The only guy can fall asleep on the beach with the press watching. No, he's not a sleeper. I'm not a sleeper. We don't. We talk at night. We can talk. I can call him almost any time. Crazy stuff.
Are they lovers? Like, we don't sleep much. We talk all night.
But no, when you love your job, when you love your country, and when you're in a position like we are, future king, highly respected, crown prince, and in my case, president, you're thinking about your country. You're thinking about making America great again. We're thinking about keeping Saudi Arabia strong and vibrant in a pretty tough part of the world, tricky part, a lot of tricky people. But he thinks about his country, and I think about my country. I don't want to sleep.
President, do you expect a formal civil nuclear deal to be reached soon?
Haters to lovers are true.
I can see that happening.
Do you think that an agreement will
I
come
don't.
today?
It's not urgent. You know, it's always when you have civil nuclear, but you have more oil than almost anybody else. We actually have more oil and gas than they do, but I refuse to say that. We have more than. We have more than anybody.
On the F-35s, are those sales? Israel had reportedly wanted those sales to be conditioned on Saudi Arabia moving to normalized.
Israel will be happy. Israel's going to be happy. Israel's
Israel's
aware, and they're going to be very happy. Okay?
Nothing I ever do will make anybody mad except the Democrats.
Yeah, please. Hello.
Hi, hello. My name is Emma Bazan from Shakal newspaper. From Riyadh, of course.
Good.
I have a question for the Crown Prince and for the President. Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, how much you expected from developing that cooperation with the United States in the field of new energy, AI, supply chain? How much you expected from that?
No limits. We just continue pushing forward. There's no limits. So we just push forward for all the opportunities that we have.
This is, you have to understand, this is really a great ally.
Yeah.
Just the fact that they're now doing, I came in here at 6, I did not know that. I was pushing for the 1 trillion, but he didn't tell me that. Now he told me. This is a great ally of ours. You know, when you invest $1 trillion, that's national security for us too, because it creates jobs, it creates a lot of things. And I would say, Scott, right, when you hear one country is putting $1 trillion into the United States, that creates national security. And, you know, I think that, they don't have to say that, but I think a big part of
Wait, this is Donald Trump telling you that foreign investment creates national security? He's just doing the lose your base speed run. Holy shit. We need foreign investment that creates a ton of national security.
That is also the fact that tariffs are in play. But even beyond tariffs, that's a real ally that will do that. Creates a lot of power for the United States.
We are also Saudi Arabia very happy for this much of Saudi.
Right, for the relationship.
Money is attraction here, and of course it's come back for us for benefit. So it's complementary interest. So this is
Just gotta keep an eye on the side.
friends and ally do.
Well, I love the country of Saudi Arabia. I know the people very well. The level of treatment that we go when we go to Saudi Arabia is something that is incredible. And the people like us, and I think they really like America, especially when I'm president. I mean, I don't think they liked America so much maybe for 4 years recently. I think Obama treated Saudi Arabia very, very badly, as you know. And I think Biden didn't have any idea where the hell he was. I don't think Biden knew the difference.
How would you describe the future relationship with Saudi Arabia? I mean, from the effective aspect. How would you describe
How would I
that?
say the relationship is with? I would say top of the line. It's as good as it can. I don't think it can get much better. We have
Shocker.
a country that trusts us, and that's why they make that investment. If they didn't trust us, they couldn't make that investment. And
That's why they're telling you they might make that investment. Again, the actual number of invested dollars thus far in Trump's presidency is $134 billion, compared to Biden, which had an average of about 300 and change billion a year. Just by the way.
And we trust them. They've been very reliable. We are. I rebuilt our military in my first term, and we spent trillions of dollars, and we gave away some of it in Afghanistan stupidly because we had stupid people running our country. But we gave away. But it's, as much as it was, it's a tiny fraction of what we put here. And we're bringing our military to a new level, the highest level ever. We have those plans to go down. And again, it's all American jobs and everything, so it's good for a lot of reasons. But as far as Saudi is concerned, no, I don't think our relationship could be better. I don't think they had a great relationship under Biden, and I don't think they had a great relationship under Obama. But they have a great
He won't acknowledge that at all. He's not agreeing or disagreeing.
relationship under Trump. When we did the presidential Walk of Fame, you saw that, right? And we're walking, and I asked the Crown Prince, so outside of Trump, because I blow everyone away, who was the best president for Saudi Arabia? And you could maybe, it's an interesting answer, right?
Roosevelt was did. Democrat. And Reagan is one of the historical presidents that have close ties with Saudi Arabia.
Wait, did he say it was never a Democrat?
Who's the best president for Saudi Arabia? And you could maybe, it's an interesting answer, right?
Roosevelt was did. Democrat. And Reagan is one of the historical presidents that have close ties with Saudi Arabia. But we've worked with all presidents.
Does Trump belong all the way?
No, it's not only the president.
Ew! What the fuck was that?
Does Trump belong all the way?
No, it's not only the president.
Ew!
And Trump doesn't give a fist bump. I grab that hand. I don't give a hell where that hand's been. I grab that hand. When remember Biden? He travels for 20 hours, gets out, and he gives a fist bump. No. When you get out of the plane, you got the future king and the man who's one of the most respected people in the world. You shake his hand. You don't give him a fist bump, right? We don't want to ask you about that, but I can't imagine you were thrilled. You were like a little bit surprised. He's a fantastic guy. You know.
Yeah, so he won't trash Biden or Obama because he knows going forward it's going to be Dems.
Do that, yeah, please.
We're going to go to the end of the year. Have you started the interviews for the Fed chair?
Yes.
Who have you interviewed?
I think I already know my choice.
Who is it?
Well, I liked him, but he's not going to take the job. He refused. You like Treasury better, right?
Much better, sir.
So we are talking to various people, and frankly, I'd love to get the guy currently in there out right now. But people are
You
holding
don't
me
say.
back. He's done a terrible job, hurting housing a little bit. The truth is, we've been so successful, we've blown past his interest rate stupidity. He's been wrong. That's why I call him too late. He's too late. Jerome Too Late Powell. He was recommended to me by a guy that made a bad choice, and it's too bad. But despite that, it's having very little impact because we have all of these things happening. But it has an impact on housing to a certain extent. He's a fool. He's a stupid man. But we have some very good people.
Yes, sir. You'll be sitting down with them in the near future. And
we have some surprising names, and we have some standard names that everybody's talking about. And we may go the standard way. It's nice to every once in a while go politically correct. But we have some great names. Steve?
Have they talked to the President Maduro of Venezuela yet? Are you still open to that?
He wants to talk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm open to talk. I talk to everybody. But no, he wants to.
3.8, that's still kinda high,
They sent
but-
all of their prison population into the United States.
We're
And
also
getting them out
in a
rapidly.
semi-inflationary
He sent all of his-
period,
and he sends
so
drugs into the United States
it
and
makes
other things.
sense.
He treated us badly. he was dealing with a bad president and he was able to get away. We have now, I think we have the strongest borders anywhere in the world. Nobody's coming in unless they come in legally. You know, we're taking very weak borders where millions of people came in.
Remember,
for the last
he
6
just
months.
cut off the asylum program, which is one hugely immoral thing and also a violation of the Refugee Convention, but whatever.
I mean, I don't do these reports. They say 0 people have been able to come in. Is that pretty good?
Mr.
I don't know if that
President,
number's right, but it's pretty
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are.
Oh, bullshit. Dude, he's doing the thing. It's like, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. Dude, I don't give a fuck how you feel about the question or how you feel about the person asking it. I want to know the answer.
Reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question.
Insubordinate? This is the press. How is it okay for the president to be calling the press insubordinate? What does he think the relationship's supposed to be? Oh my God.
And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psyched you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I would turn out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton. Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island.
He is genuinely any % losing an election. I mean, yeah, he already got there. Like we just saw. People hate his ass.
Andrew Weissman here. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me
That's what he was handed? Oh my God. Okay, fine. Jeffrey Epstein was a Democrat. Fine. So were you during that time. But, like, doesn't change the fact that you had a relationship with him, and you may have done the thing that everyone's worried you might have done.
0, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's is your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something. I think the license should be taken away from ABC.
Oh, that's normal and healthy for a president to say that the license should be stripped of a major media news org that's critical of him. That's healthy and normal. Yeah.
Because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, chairman, who should look at that. Because I think when you...
This is not normal. You cannot have the president directing a commissioner of the FCC to vindictively look at the license for a company, a media company that asks you tough questions. Like, it was probably legal because it's under the executive, but also, like, that's very abnormal. It's like him directing the DOJ or FBI. It's just not... It's not healthy practice.
You come in, and when you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter.
Okay, just because people vote for something doesn't mean it's right. People regret it, all right? People very much regret it. They don't even approve of his stance on immigration now, all right? The people fucked up. They are acknowledging that. Like, that's the way democracy goes. We vote for the thing we think we want. Once we feel the consequences, we're kind of like, ah, shit, all right. That's why the midterms tend to flip the House and Senate against the president, because people are like, ah, shit, this isn't really what I wanted. So, like, the people voting for something does not make it a good thing. It shows that the people at that point liked the message around that thing.
So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep the fund guy was with him all the time. What's his name? Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You're going to go back and learn how to be a reporter.
Facts don't care about your feelings. Remember that whole Republican Party? Where's that?
No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
Very quickly, I want to ask you, how much money is Saudi Arabia giving for Gaza reconstruction?
We have a discussion about that. Still, there's no amount being
He'll be all right.
named, but
He'll be all
we will
right.
definitely get.
Yeah, he's gonna. It's very important to him.
And a quick follow-up, the International Security Force, given your pledge there will be no U.S. boots on the ground, what is the U.S. role going to be in that, and how do you sort of ratify the allegations that this could undermine...
Oh, don't worry. Trump and Tony Blair are going to be leading it.
I think we're going to get along great with the Palestinians. We know their leadership. We just had a very, you hate to say war, but it was a war. Very, very successful. And you could say really it was on behalf of everybody. We did that on behalf of everybody. And the outcome was extraordinary because we had the best...
What is this? MBS's response to that?
You could say really it was on behalf of everybody. We did that on behalf of everybody. And the outcome was extraordinary because we had the best pilots, the best equipment, the best planes, the best everything.
Oh,
and
it'd be
Israel
rad
got the best
war,
equipment.
okay.
They got it from us. Everything's from us. It all starts here. This office, I was talking to the Crown Prince a little while. You walk into this office, there's somebody from the outside. The Oval Office. It's the most powerful place in the world. You're standing right now in the most powerful place in the world. And no matter how big you are, these are the biggest people, the richest people. They walk into this office. It's special, isn't it? Look at them. He's so happy to be here. But you walk into this office. It's the Oval Office.
Look how he looks when Trump isn't looking at him.
And we've done a lot of good with it.
Real body language, experts say.
This office. I've stopped actually 8 wars. I appreciated your question before. But I've actually stopped 8 wars. I have another one to go with Putin. I'm a little surprised at Putin. It's taken longer than I thought. But we stopped India and Pakistan. I could go through the list. You know the list better than I do. I'm very proud. And I stopped one that was almost ready to start again. There was one that was ready to start. And they're doing very well. So it all took place right here in the Oval Office, whether by telephone or whether they came in. Many of these leaders have come in. And, they signed their peace deals right here in the Oval Office. So no matter if it's the biggest business people in the world or the greatest leaders in the world, the biggest leaders in the world, like the gentleman on my right, everybody walks into the Oval Office and they say, wow. And now, by the way, the Oval
It's like, wow, this place is disgusting.
Office is in the
and well, because of all the gold, it's super gaudy. I'm telling you, Trump, just move to the Emirates or something. You were born to be an Emirati.
condition that it should be in. Whether you look at the walk or the marble floors or anything down the road, we're fixing the White House and we're building one of the greatest ballrooms ever to be built. We have an event tonight and we're going to have about 118 people because we have a very small room. For 150 years they've wanted a ballroom, and now you're going to get a great ballroom. And I have to say, I probably made a lot of enemies because in your honor, we're having a dinner tonight, a beautiful dinner tonight, and we have a very small room.
My favorite dictators have been in the
This
Oval
room.
Office.
And
True.
it's beautiful, it's lovely, but it's like for a little cocktail before you go into a ballroom. It's a very small room. They wanted a new ballroom for 150 years. We could have sold the big ballroom out 3 times in honor of this gentleman. So I made a lot of enemies because I have a lot of people that are invited tonight or are unable to come because of the size constraint. But you know what we'll do before I leave office? We'll have another dinner because we'll have it ready long before I leave office, and it's going to be beautiful. It's it's a very popular thing what we're doing. And by the way, no government funds. It's all put up private money, all private money.
Yeah, again, I mean, he is right. He's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. I would probably fall on the side of, I don't know what the optics are of having a privately funded wing of the fucking White House. That's the people's house. It probably ought to be government dollars, right? I don't know. There's something very iffy about privately funded additions to the White House.
And in the case, I think it's there's a restriction on foreigners. Otherwise, I could have asked you just for a check. Okay? But there's a restriction. These are all.
I don't want the Lockheed Martin White House wing. I don't want the Palantir sponsored West Wing. I'm good.
all private individuals have put up a lot of money to build the ballroom. Not one penny is being used from the federal government. So it's really nice.
Yeah, that's.
But I look forward to it. I just pointed it out. This would be a perfect night to have that ballroom open, Susie. If we had that open, we'd have a lot of people very happy. Right now, we have a lot of unhappy people because they all want to be with us tonight to honor this great man. Thank you all very much.
Okay, wow. All right, I said we're speedrunning this, so we are speedrunning this. Let's look at Pondy real quick.
On the Epstein files, does the new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files?
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
What?
Next steps, Madam Attorney General.
And We have
attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files.
We
and
will
to have
follow the
maximum
law.
transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
What are the next steps, Madam Attorney General, for the DOJ regarding what we assume President Trump will sign into law with the Epstein files? Is this going to be on the Justice Department website? What are you doing here over the next 30 days as we understand it?
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency.
Oh my God.
While protecting victims.
So the part she's leaving out is anything under investigation, anything that's a national security risk can be blocked out. I would have to imagine that anything implicating the president might fall under national security risk. We'll see. I'm not hopeful.
When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Oh, what changed is that clause of, well, shit, the only way we can hide more stuff if there's more investigations. So, even though the recommendation was, yeah, we don't really think anything else should be investigated with the... Wait, hold on. So,
and the evidence did not mention the fact earlier this year saying that Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then?
Okay, yeah.
There's information new information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward, and we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
Wedding, Madam General. On Ryan Wedding, you mentioned,
Madam Attorney
Sure,
General,
Kelly.
the issue with the new information that you just indicated, is the department seeking information perhaps from the Epstein estate because Mr. Blanche did not have that information when he interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell? What new information, and would you limit the new investigation to just those named persons that the president talked about, or is this a broad, open-ended investigation?
I would refer to the Deputy Attorney General's post that he put out on X, and we're not going to say anything else on that because now it is a pending investigation.
Oh, they are just using it to get out of releasing certain information. Oh, that's nuts. Okay, yeah, wow. I mean, we knew that they were going to try and stifle it. It's just, oh my God, it's so, well, ironically transparent.
In the Southern District of New York.
Christ. All right, that's that. I'm not going to watch this Saudi investment forum remarks. Mike Johnson being a little bit of a worm.
And everybody, it's good to see you back. After 43 long days of the Democrat shutdown, we are finally back in regular legislative session. We've been very anxious to get here. We spent the last 6 weeks in our districts. Most of the members of the House, at least the House Republicans did at least, 6 weeks they spent in their district, and many of them will tell you, and they've said publicly and privately, they did some of the best work of their career because they were right there with their constituents at home in their districts, in their
That's a very nice way of saying they fled the Capitol trying to vote, all right?
Counties and their parishes, in our case in Louisiana, working with their constituents and helping them navigate the consequences of the Democrats' pointless political games in the shutdown. They did some really important work. And we are ready and eager now to get back to the legislative session work, the other side of this job, so that we can deliver on our promises to the American people. The Republican Party has been doing this, and we will continue. We're going to continue to reduce the cost of health care. We've got big plans to do that. We can continue reducing prices and the cost of living for...
Okay, so with the tax credits expiring, people's costs are doubling and quadrupling. What's next? Oh, I don't know. We're going to remove the buyer power and make it so everyone has to negotiate individually so that the insurance companies get all the power back. Nice. Cool. Thanks, Mike.
For American families, and of course, to finish the rest of the appropriations government funding process. We've been needing to do that, and we are already working around the clock to accomplish those objectives. But with so many pressing issues on our plate, just very frustratingly to us, the Democrats are delaying that work even further with a political show vote. They're forcing a political show vote.
A show vote? Dude, we're curious of one of the, if not the biggest pedophile ring, man.
On the Epstein files. So we're just going to address that right at the top here this morning because they've spent so much time, the Democrats have, spinning the facts and trying to confuse the people that I wanted to come in this morning and just clearly...
Nobody's confused.
...explain for the people back home how we got here and why this vote is happening right now. First, a quick review of the relevant history here. For 4 long years under the previous administration, under the Biden-Harris administration, Democrats insisted there was no border crisis. Remember, they told you that that wasn't a problem at all. They dismissed
what does this have to do with pedophiles?
Inflation as transitory. That's what they told us. They told the American people not to believe what we could all see with our own eyes, that there was an obvious mental and physical decline on the part of President Biden individually. And now, seemingly overnight, these same cast of characters, they've taken a sudden and urgent interest in the Epstein investigation. Suddenly, it's all in the name of transparency. That's what they're trying to tell us. But the truth is, the biggest proponents of this discharge petition were never actually interested in transparency or ensuring justice or protecting victims of this unspeakable tragedy, the Epstein evils. And how do we know that? Because the Democrats had every one of...
Not the Epstein files, the Epstein Eve.
The Epstein files in their possession for the 4 long years of the Biden administration. The Biden Department of Justice...
Okay, under Biden, there actually was investigations going on. They just wrapped up. All right? Now, you're literally watching Pam Bondi trying to launch new investigations so that they don't have to release it. Under Biden, they were investigating it.
Had the files the entire time. And not a single one of the people who are so loud and animated right now, they never said anything about it for all those 4 years. None of them held press
That's also not true.
conferences. None of them demanded the release of the documents. And under Biden's DOJ, when they prosecuted just Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, not a single one of these Democrats or any of the proponents of the discharge ever made any noise about that at all. So it's fair for the American people to ask the question, why now? Why suddenly are they so interested? They have such an urgent interest in the Jeffrey Epstein matter. The truth is simple and straightforward and obvious for anyone who is willing to look at it objectively. Clearly, this is a political exercise for Democrats and a few others, sadly, and it is as deceitful and dishonest as their pointless stunt to shut down the government. Same ideology behind this. Democrats are trying to use the Epstein matter as a political weapon to distract from their own party's failures. And in a desperate attempt, they're trying to somehow tie President Trump to the scandal. President Trump has nothing...
Wow. Where's that? There's an Adam Mockler tweet. Oh, fuck. It's so funny. I'm starting to put together the pieces or something like that. Adam Mockler. I'm starting to put this together. Something like that. X. Yeah, it's this tweet, I think. I'm starting to piece things together here. It's just 1-to-1.
To do with it. He has said himself he has nothing to hide. And that's clearly what they've been trying to do. They're trying to attack President Trump. This is what they've done. They weaponized the justice system over the last several years to go after him, and this is their latest attempt. And they don't have a platform or a principle to defend on the Democrat Party side, so they put all their eggs in this basket. And that's why you hear endlessly about Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Everything's about Epstein. Now, this was an unspeakable tragedy, we said that. And we have great compassion for the victims. And I'm heartened that I met with the victims, our House Oversight Committee members met with the victims, and they deserve justice. It has been too long delayed. Not just justice for what they were made to endure, but also we need answers on why it took so long for the Department of Justice itself to do that job under previous leaders.
Because the Democrats do investigations right. That's why Trump is still out. All right? Jack Smith tried to do things right, and it took too fucking long. What's Merrick Garland?
Leadership. Republicans, meanwhile, are working in earnest to deliver transparency to the American people, and we're working to do that in a responsible manner that does no further harm to these innocent people and the victims who have been wrapped into this. There are a few key facts here that everybody needs to understand. First, I mentioned the House Oversight Committee doing its work. That is a bipartisan effort. They are already producing far more than the discharge petition even anticipates. Chairman Comer is our chair of
Yeah, because they're doing the Steve Bannon flood the zone. Shut the fuck up.
Oversight. Some of the biggest bulldogs in Congress serve on that committee, you all know, and I've mentioned this so many times. They have been, on the Republican and Democrat side, they're deeply dug in. They've been working around the clock. They worked even through the government shutdown, and there were tranches of documents that were released even over that period. So far, by last count, it's over 65,000 documents, Epstein file documents, that are now out in the public for everyone to review. That includes tens of thousands of pages from the Epstein estate. And that includes Epstein's flight logs, his personal financial records and ledgers, his daily calendars, and so much more. And none of that is even written or included in the discharge petition. So in other words, the Oversight Committee is doing far more than the discharge even anticipates, and the most valuable information thus far has come from the Epstein estate files. That was produced because of the work of the Oversight Committee that is doing that in a professional, robust manner, using the full subpoena authority of the U.S. Congress.
Oh my God. Dude, I seriously wonder what happens when this guy goes home. What does he think to himself? Does he just like zone out when he does all this? Holy fuck, this is nuts. Oh my God.
From the very beginning, our side has been insistent that this matter must be handled very carefully and with utmost caution and care for the victims. We want maximum transparency. We have always been about that. We want every single person who had any scintilla of evidence that they were involved in the Epstein evils, they need to be brought to justice, and it should have been done a long time ago. We need to find out who those people are. But in the meantime, you have to remember there are real people's, innocent people's lives at stake here, and young victims who don't want to be dragged into this political game because it could hurt further what they've already endured. They would be made to suffer more harm if Congress is not careful in what we're doing. And unlike our very important work that's underway in the House Oversight Committee, the Democrat-led discharge petition would carelessly dump thousands of documents without proper protections for the innocent. I brought a chart in here this morning. I want to illustrate for you what we are concerned with. Now, I was a federal court litigator. The members of our House Judiciary Committee, Republicans in particular, have many of these concerns. You have Chairman Jim Jordan and attorneys like Chip Roy, who's running for Attorney General of Texas now. You have Brad Knott, who's a former federal prosecutor. Many members on the committee. Andy Biggs is running for governor of Arizona. They're lawyers, and they understand that the way the discharge petition was drafted is haphazard and dangerous. This is why we have been opposed at this point, okay? And I could be here for a long time going through all the details of it, but the big concern we've all had all along is that the House bill, if it's passed in its current form and it was signed into law, it is dangerously flawed. And our problem and our frustration is there's no way for us in the House to amend it or correct these problems because the authors of the discharge will not allow it. And that's one of our great frustrations. Let me just very quickly, we have... We have a legal document that the lawyers, we have all drafted to explain all this, but let me give you five quick, maybe the top 5 concerns about it, and there are more. But as drafted, the discharge petition, it fails to fully protect victim privacy. I'm going to read you an excerpt out of our legal document we put together to explain all this. Congress should give the Attorney General broader authority to redact all the victim information. The discharge doesn't do that. This would prevent the release of information that can be used to unmask victims who have chosen to remain anonymous. Now, you have some very brave women who have come forward and put their names and faces out there and done press conferences and explained that justice is overdue, and our hearts go out to them, and they are heroes. But you have as many as 1,000 women, by some of the accounts, who may be caught up in this. And the vast majority of them have not come forward, probably for obvious reasons. They don't want to be unmasked. But the discharge petition doesn't have adequate protections. It risks re-victimizing those who were trafficked and exploited. And the courts have recognized this concern, by the way. I'll read you a quick excerpt. On August 20th of this year, Judge Richard Berman, the Southern District of New York, issued an order denying the DOJ's...
All right, fuck this guy. All right, that's it. Short stream today. Sorry, everybody.